Alright, good evening ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back for Game 2 of Garuda Infinity versus Vincitore from Division 2 of the Join Dota League Season 5. And of course, for anybody who's not aware, the structure of the Join Dota League changed recently, so now the Premier Division is fully sponsored by MLG, almost a separate tournament, much bigger prize pools up there. So when you see these teams fighting around in the Division 2 leagues, they really are just on the cusp of getting onto a pretty major tournament. If they can just reach the top of their division this season, one of them will be promoted. So, a lot at stake here, and we saw Garuda Infinity rock to a very, very nice early win in the previous game with an entirely blue team focused around the quick ganks coming out of Storm Spirit and Spirit Breaker, and the late scaling farm of Drow. And that basically meant that even though for at least the early in the mid game, most of their ganks weren't working, and they were coming off with smaller kill trades, what it still meant is that the farm overall was better because Drow was just generally farming madly on the other side of the map, and by the end of the game they had 5 towers down, then 6, then 7, then racks, and I'm not even sure if Vincitore managed to take a tower in the previous game. So that was the kind of thing we were looking at. This game we see Garuda Infinity banning out the AA, which makes me a little bit sad almost, because it would just fit so well with their all blue trend up to now. It would be interesting if they picked him up and we see the Morphling all blue all the way. Now that makes sense. That makes a fair bit of sense. AA can do some fairly nasty things in terms of blocking, healing, and Morphling, although the strength morph isn't technically a heal, he's still one of those heroes who can benefit from going really low and tricking the opponent into chasing him when he's low and then healing up really quickly. You know, getting a cheese on morph, for example, is great. So even though he's still tanky with the strength morph, even without heals, the AA ult is still very good at knocking him down. And of course Tidehunter, with a stun with such a massive range that I don't think Morphling could waveform out of it if Tide blinked right onto him. I don't think the length on the duration of waveform would be enough, although Morph would be immune during it, so I suppose it would come down to a skill shot. But both of those fairly good Morph counters. Vincitore banning out the Sniper again. Now we saw them ban that last game in response to a Drow and a Vengeful lineup, but they're just going to ban it straight out this time, and also the Brewmaster, which I think was also one of their bans last game. I'm not too sure on that, maybe someone in chat can tell me. But yeah, certainly a hero who can mess up early game strategies, and I've got a feeling, backed up by Shadow Shaman and Bristleback, that Vincitore are going to decide that, you know what, we need to stop messing around with these guys. We need to get a strategy that is like a shotgun to the face, and when people think shotgun to the face, they always go for early push, hard push, and dive. So we see Shadow Shaman coming out. As soon as he hits 6, you've basically secured yourself a tower, if you do it even halfway right. And Bristleback, one of the most survivable heroes under the enemy towers that can possibly exist. So a nice little lineup from them there. Troll Warlord picked out for Garuda Infinity. They're gonna try and, I guess, show Vincitore up a little bit. You know, oh yeah, you picked him last time. We think we can do a little bit better with him. Best of luck to him. Should make for an interesting game. Also, of course, the right-click buff on the Troll gives options to the Morphling. You know, Morphling with massive agi buff has huge attack speed anyway. The Troll Warlord ult on top of that would be great. It does kind of prompt Morphling to go for more of a damage build than maybe a shotgun morph. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. And the other thing, of course, that I should have mentioned about the early game that we're seeing coming out from Vincitore is early game into a Morphling. That at least, you know, that's a fairly solid plan, you know, especially with high lockdown heroes like Shadow Shaman. Morphling is a late game farmer. If you can shut him down early, that's your best way of dealing with him. Oh, and also I just realized we've for the next game coming up, which will be well, it'll be in about an hour and a half, so a short break between this match and the next 2-game series, but we'll have Vladuts possibly helping out, who actually knows some of the Rage and Goomba heroes, who are the 2 teams that will be playing. So that'll be very interesting to see. Bans coming out for Phase 2, Abaddon and Omni Knight coming out from Garuda Infinity. They are anticipating the dive that we were talking about earlier, and they are banning out the heroes that support it. Those were very, very good bans. And I gotta say, I've been slightly more pro Abaddon recently than I have been in previous months. partly because of some ability draft games where I picked up Curse of Avernus. That shit is nuts. But also just, yeah, I can see him. I can see him. There were a couple of games in the ESL Road to Frankfurt, which which is now called the ESL Frankfurt Community Challenge or something for some reasons, I don't know why. But there were some carrier bands played in that which were very draft specific. I wouldn't say they're general play, but they work very, very well. Over for Il Vincitore, we see the Jug and Vengeful Band. Both of those make huge sense when considering the Troll Warlords. The logic being right-click buffs. You know, you don't want a Juggernaut with his crit chance getting the Troll Warlord attack speed. You don't want a Troll Warlord with his attack speed getting the Vengeful damage. They're very sensible bands. And then a final pickup on the Queen of Pain. Now, Queen of Pain is a flexible hero. I don't see her a huge amount these days, and I kind of don't think she deserves to be played a huge amount these days. Blink is great, sure. Even the DOT on the dagger is decent, and sure, she can clear waves, but to me it's just a question of, does she scale? Well, no. Does she gank? Well, there are better gankers with lockdown. You know, if you have lockdown, then you can gank and work with the lane. If you've just got nuke, then you can kind of gank by turning up and hoping that the lane, you know, locks down them for you, or hoping that the positioning is just right. So I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of Queen, basically, but you know, prove me wrong. Prove me wrong, Il Vincitore. I welcome that. Long pause here for Garuda Infinity, down to 50 seconds of reserve time as they try and work out their third pickup. They may, I mean, they did. As I said, the previous game I think definitely was in their favour the whole way through. It didn't look like it was, but they were setting the pace the whole way through. Even when they were being a bit too aggressive, they were still getting out in fine enough shape that Il Vincitore couldn't take control of the game. Now, I'm wondering whether in this game they're feeling like they might have gone a little bit greedy. There's a huge amount of early kill potential coming out from Il Vincitore. The other thought occurs to me that I may have missed some call in chat that everything has crashed. Nope, chat's fine. But they realized that actually Il Vincitore have a hugely early deadly lineup, and they've gone not only greedy but fairly squishy. Now they go for the line to try and back that out. I do like the line pickup. Obviously you've got great lockdown and you've got the ult at 6, but also just mana drain can really mess with certain heroes. Queen of Pain being one of them, I suppose, if she comes to gank. But even just draining the mana of the Bristleback, if you can get Bristle down to 0 mana, it's not going to completely neutralize him, but it will neutralize his kill potential. If they end up laning the line against the Shadow Shaman, there's obviously huge utility there. It'll be an interesting lane. I do think Garuda are feeling a little bit on the back foot here, though. As I said, they got their bans, I think, right on point with the Abaddon and the Omni Knight. Really don't want an aggro try with them and Bristle. But this Queen of Pain, much as I don't like her, what she does do is punish early greed, and Garuda with Morphling and Troll have been pretty greedy so far. You know, Troll can work great on an early game team. I'm not saying he's necessarily a hero that you've got to play with the late game in mind. But when you play him on an early game team, you generally want him to be somewhere farming for the first little bit. At least most of the time, while somebody else takes up the flak and, you know, goes in with the aggression. And then once he's got a few items, he can do things. And of course, the reason he's really great for early game teams is because you can pop the ult from anywhere on the map while he's off somewhere else farming and contribute to the team fight, even if you're playing a kind of safe farming position 1. Garuda picking up the axe this time. You know, they almost went for Team Red, and I'm kind of disappointed that they didn't. Whereas Il Vincitore going for the Dazzle. Now, axe, of course, great counter to Dazzle, goes straight through Shallow Grave like whatever you want to call it, like a knife through butter, like an axe through a person, I guess. That's probably the best analogy, although it's not even an analogy, which is kind of sad. And it is a great level of tank and lockdown, which is what Garuda need. The other great thing that I love about the axe is, of course, when he uses Berserker's Call, he's going to get plus 40 armor, and that is going to make him hugely resistant to the Shadow Shaman wards, which are going to be defining a huge amount of the early Il Vincitore aggression. You know, it'll be a question of when the wards are up, they can go in, but now that we're going in on an axe, basically, an axe is fairly good at just ignoring that kind of stuff. Il Vincitore going for the Doom, great lockdown and control for the Morphling. Certainly, absolutely. I've gone off Doom since they changed the workings on it, so no longer disables passive until you get an axe. To me, that was kind of unnecessary. I'm not even saying that Doom didn't necessarily need a nerf. It was just a question of, to me, that was kind of his thing, you know. Like, take away something else. Leave him with Doom, as Doom is supposed to be. And we see Garuda Infinity picking up Phoenix. Now, there are some great combos they've got here with the lockdown AoE from Axe and or Lion, and tying that into a big Phoenix ult.
I'd get ready if I
but
were you.
it doesn't seem to me the most intuitive draft. But Phoenix is great at slowing down pushes, keeping people at bay, and that's exactly what the Morphling is going to need. So we'll get straight on to introducing these teams. Starting off with Vincitore, we have Anxiety, this time taking the Queen of Pain. Shadow Shaman, going to be played by JJ. Seems like these teams are fairly flexible in terms of who plays support and who plays the cause. Bristleback, going to be played by Mong. And Batu, going to be played by Dazzle. Now those four rotating here into the Radiant Jungle. Doom taking the offlane, getting early wards up. Going to be played by Fitzberg, so seems like he's a standard offlaner here. Deja Vu Knight. I'll get down to introducing the Dire in a moment, but Deja Vu Knight is going to run into a fair few of the Radiant heroes here, and they do seem to be in fairly good positions for a jump, but wow, that was, I think, a bit of a misplay if they were anticipating someone coming from that direction, because JJ is a person on the Shadow Shaman who they really wanted to get on those Dire heroes as soon as possible if there was a chance for an early first blood. Very quick to drop down the shackles, something like that, and that could have got them easy kills. Meanwhile, up on top lane, Doom is kind of just being chased away from top room by Lion, who's also going to be able to get a few right clicks down, and that's going to make Doom just slightly unhappy during the early game. So top room Dire, bot room going down for Radiant, and let's get on with introducing the Dire. Playing the Axe, we've got Liberari Fatali. Now he was the mid-Storm Spirit last game, so again a fairly flexible team. Lion going to be played by Greymon, this was the support Spirit Breaker. Troll going to be played by Vans. Morphling going to be taken by Speaker, and finally the looks like offlane Phoenix going to be played by Deja Vu Knight. Now we're going to be seeing, it almost looks like a wow, Doom desperately trying to get back into his offlane, but just keeps running into Lion, who's just right clicking him. Not sure why he doesn't just walk round another way, but after being faced out for that long, he's just going to run down here. Oh, and pick up a red Satyr. That is perfect. That is absolutely perfect. Now he's got Unholy Aura, 4 health regen, and that will catch him right up to that Lion. That's actually one of the best creeps, in my opinion, that Doom can get in the laning phase, if he wants to play a defensive offlane. Over on the mid, we have got Anxiety going up against Vans, Quap up against the Troll Warlord. And those melee axes are going to do pretty nasty things to Queen of Pain, just absolutely reducing her ability to last hit, which is a fair amount of Quap does early in the game. Of course, Quap not going to be one of the heroes who suffers overly much from that, because most of her damage, at least, is going to be coming out magically. Mong, laning up now against Phoenix, and I've always thought that, you know, DOT is something that can do a fair job against Bristleback. And DOT is what Phoenix is all about. Does have JJ rotating in from the other side, but I gotta say the Radiant supports here don't look too comfortable in the role of you know, rotating around behind and securing the lockdown needed for a kill. It seems just a little bit clumsy, and hasn't been getting them kills either in the first game or so far right now. And yeah, it's a bit early to call it. You know, have a go at them now for not already having a kill at 1 minute 52. But Dota's a harsh game, you know. No room for scrubs. Pull coming out from Batu here. They've noticed that the medium camp up here is being blocked, with a nice ward coming out from Phoenix. Deja Vu Knight pops the Icarus dive to try and get up behind Shadow Shaman, and that is going to force Shadow Shaman to rotate a different path out of the lane and make it slightly safer for Deja Vu Knight to stay in here against the Bristleback, and also going to be able to soak up a decent amount of XP and farm possibly here on this pull coming out from Batu. Only going to be running into a Dazzle, although I say that Dazzle has one of the best right clicks in the game. Let's have a look. Hitting for 55 at level 2. Phoenix hitting for 55 at level 3. Greymon takes first blood. Missed that, and apologies. Queen of Pain gets a follow-up on Lion, and then Troll gets a follow-up on Queen of Pain. So 2 for 1 on that mid gank. And great play for Garuda 8. To left, Troll looking very, very low. As soon as Queen of Pain respawns, he's going to have to think about beating a hasty retreat. But for now, he can just soak up a little bit more of these last hits. Queen's coming in now. Knows Troll is low. Even has vision on him. And Troll's not actually going to retreat too far, just getting his bottle back. And healing up, going to be heading straight back into lane. I missed first blood, I'm so sad. We got second and third though, so that makes up for it a little bit, I hope, guys. Badu taking a little bit of harass now down here on this bot lane as Deja Vu Knight moves into the bot tier 1 again. Now, the lane seems to have been pushed quite a lot. We've been fighting under the Radiant tier 1 quite a lot down here on this bot lane. But the tower hasn't taken a huge amount of damage. Deja Vu Knight not actually doing too well on the CS. I thought he had a better control of the lane than he did, but only on 6 compared to Bristle's 18. This is a very happy safe lane Bristle. The one big problem, of course, with this Bristleback is not the best scaler. Now, he's one of those heroes who I will entertain Bristleback carry stories, because Queen of Pain again on the mid. Gets a kill on the Troll Warlord, so that's 2 for 2. This time I think with a bit of support coming out from Shadow Shaman, who's going to be able to glyph up on the way, rune up on the way down, pick up that bounty. But yeah, Bristleback with Warpath, to me that's a carry ability. I can see Bristleback having the potential to carry. Maybe we're just waiting for another little nerf or another change, maybe even just to an item before it becomes, you know, the most played strat in the world. But one way or another, right now in the metagame, is an unusual position 1, and he does not scale as hard as a Morphling. I'm not even sure if he scales as hard as a Troll. So, not a dominant late game posture coming out here from Vincitore. And I don't think Doom or Quap really fit the late game scaling mold either, unfortunately. Phoenix getting this DOT just all over the lane here. It's kind of messy. It's getting everywhere. And so much use of the jungle coming out here from Dire. We've got Morphling doing the stack pull trick. We've got Axe doing the stack pull trick. Looks like they're actually swapping though. Oh no, they're doing them together. Oh, that's sweet. Axe getting all of these last hits though. Culling Blade too strong, friends. Culling Blade too strong. And Morphling really struggling. Is this support Morphling or something? This is weird. Like, it would be perfectly possible for the Morphling to be waveforming and trying to get these last hits, but I'm pretty sure they do actually just belong to the Axe. That's the plan. Yeah, it's some kind of support morph. I'm going to keep my eye on that. Or at least a morph that you run as a support for the early part of the game, farm up somebody like an Axe, and then make space for morph to just burst farm minutes, say 15 to 25, and then be an additional core for the late game. JJ wanted to try there on the mid vans, wasn't able to get anything huge. But no action coming down for a little while here. Quap going to secure chop rune. It's going to be a bounty rune. There's a haste bottom. That's going to be much more wanted by both teams. Much more in demand. And last hits led so far by Axe, who's just nuking this jungle. Big action up on top lane. Fitzberg being brought hugely low here, but does have Anxiety coming in support. Manages to finish off the Axe, who was trying to retreat back up, but Lion finished off by Shadow Shaman. These rotations. So, 2 for 1. Axe and Lion both falling for Vincitore. But again, I'm seeing a pattern with these guys of rotating arguably more than they need. If you rotate these big 4 heroes to kill 2, you win the fight. And if you can rotate out and get straight back to your lanes, that is great. I'm not trying to do huge hate. All I'm pointing out is what happened last game was they got the lead on kills, but they didn't get the rotations down pat. And what that meant is G8 were actually sneakily taking the lead, even though Vincitore were ahead on kills.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Much slower Axe in this game. I'm not sure I like it. And it is a support morph. Ward's coming out. Anybody in chat who's seen support morph, please do send messages. Let me know how this is played, because I'm a little bit out of my zone right here. Vahans does get caught by the Shadow Shaman this time. There's a Shackle to come down to follow up the Hex. Anxiety desperately trying to nuke down, throw in some damage, and he's going to get it. JJ almost falls to the Troll, and does. That was strange. Oh, Orb of Venom on the Troll finished him off. I was like, where did that DOT come from? But yeah, okay. Orb of Venom on the Troll finished off Shadow Shaman. No XP for Troll, of course. But an okay trade. Doom rotating up to mid, getting a nice ward down here. Making sure the Queen doesn't fall prey to the exact same kind of gank that was just used on the Troll Warlord. And a regen rune for this Quap. That is just beautiful. Axe getting low on a stack. Spotted out by Doom, who's running in. Doesn't have Doom yet, but does have the Central Stomp. Didn't use it though, which was an interesting choice. Possibly just really wanting to save it for the Doom, which goes down on the Troll. He needed the mana for that. Queen of Pain's in here to get the right clicks down. They will be finishing off this Troll. Oh no, Phoenix denied. Beautiful job there from Deja Vu Knight. And now it's Anxiety who's in trouble. I don't know how much stun lock they've got though. And Shadow Shaman has come up to put the harass on Deja Vu Knight. Lion's not able to help out anymore. And Queen of Pain's actually going to make it out with Greymon now, having to run away from JJ. And the threat of Shackle pauses for an Earth Spike to slow down that Queen of Pain. And I think that is going to end up being a good call. No, it's not. Brings him in Rain of Ether, Shock and Blink. And that's another very quick kill for Vincitore. Let's have a look at the net worth here. So they are leading the net worth chart with Queen of Pain sitting on about 5,500. Now she's certainly a snowball hero, as I think I may have mentioned. Not my favourite, but certainly got snowball potential. And the XP graph looking hugely in favour of Vincitore now, after a fairly early lead for Garuda Infinity. And gold going pretty much the exact same way. No towers down as of yet though. And Vincitore are on a little bit of a time limit when it comes to finishing this game. If Morphling gets huge, if he gets E-Blade, then Queen of Pain's going to suffer. You know, you can't blink away from an E-Blade morph. That's just not going to happen, friend. Mong choosing to go on this Phoenix surely knows the danger of the ult, and there it is. It gets dropped. I'm not sure it's going to be in range for the stun though, but there will be an Icarus dive coming off after it. And there's a blink in from Axe, which slows down Batu and JJ, who are the other two trying to come in. Mong's still alive though, and it's 2 for 3 now for G8, who are going to be forced to back up. Now what that does mean though, as nobody died for G8 either, is that they've opened up the other lanes a little bit for their other heroes. Lion is going to be able to actually farm a little bit on mid. Morphling only now just leaving top, heading back into the jungle. And we're seeing some pressure come down on bottom as well. Action on mid is Doom and a DD Queen of Pain. Try and put some pressure onto this Lion, who I guess isn't going to get the farm I think he was hoping for. But a big initiation coming out from Dire down on bottom. Culling Blade finishes off Bristleback. Fitzberg rotating in immediately. Doom is off cooldown, but the rotations just aren't fast enough. I don't think they could have been fast enough there. I don't think TPs would have allowed for it. Very quick gank from behind the trees there from Dire. Let's have a quick look. Oh, and another kill on mid with Lion going down to that DD. I mean, she was as dangerous as we were expecting. Let's have a look at that now. The quick fight recap. Yeah, Queen of Pain just bang. Did use every ability though, and the ult is down for the next 2 minutes. This is going to be mid tower though. Killing that Lion bought them the space they needed. Here, Anxiety going to be able to change the tower harass here. Oh, does actually look. Liberace Force comes in with a beautiful blink call, followed up by the blade, and gets another blade as well on the Shadow Shaman. Garuda and deny again coming out from Deja Vu Knight. And suddenly, G8 are looking powerful with the entire XP lead caught up in that one team fight. Let's have a quick look at that. I'm pretty sure most of the damage was coming out of Culling Blade. And yeah, that was it, just Culling Blade. Of course, Queen of Pain brought hugely low by the tower before that, trying to rush it down. And a beautiful glyph from Garuda 8, securing them kills. So yeah, ahead on XP now. The gold graph slightly less sensitive to change. It's going to take a little bit of a while to swing back into their favour, but they're working on it. They are working on it. Mong now moving in on top tower, wants to be getting a little bit more damage down here. Meanwhile, Deja Vu Knight just trying to farm up the bot lane. Fitzberg eats a stun. Not entirely sure why Morph wasted the mana on that, to be honest. I guess maybe... Nope, didn't pop Soul Ring. So it wasn't the free mana. And it looks like Dire have a chance to just push down this bot tower if they want, but Radiant are taking the same opportunity mid. Top, sorry. Rotations in, meanwhile, on this mid lane. It looks like Dazzle might be in a little bit of trouble here, as we've got... Dazzle and Doom, rather, as we've got Morphling supported by the Axe and the Lion. The blink comes down from Axe, followed up by the finger. They're not even going to let him get Doom down because they want to initiate straight off this onto this Dazzle. And Axe just going to happily soak up the damage here. I think he should have moved under those TPs and been ready to call, but he didn't. So Anxiety going to be able to chase the Dire Heroes off the tower. Dazzle and Axe both dying though. Queen dropping the ult, but not killing Greymon, who is going to have to play this really cautiously. Running out the other way, but ends up eating the Queen of Pain AoE. Anxiety possibly in a little bit of trouble here, but does have Blink again. The wards are popped. If Shadow Shaman can get some lockdown here, this will be huge. Deja Vu Knight soaks up a lot of the damage and then drops down for an ult. Not sure if that was wise with these Shadow Shaman wards, but they're just... I think Phoenix was just out of range of those Shadow Shaman wards. Just. If he had been 500 closer, that would have been terrible. Does end up dying though. Axe falling as well as the Radiant Heroes group together. Doom is back up. Did we get a buyback? No, we did not, but Doom has respawned. Doom's still off cooldown, of course. That's the the disadvantage of getting that beautiful chain stun down on the Doom and preventing him from using the ability. If it goes on too long, he's going to come back with full mana, full health, and Doom's still off cooldown. Bristleback going to try and tank the tower a little bit here, I think. Try and keep the catapult alive. Nope. They're just going to back out, realizing that they've got a chance to take out this Troll Warlord down on the bot lane, who has been farming fairly well. He's, you know, up there with the cause, but not what you really want from a hero who's being... Oh, wow. Troll running into trouble over here in the jungle. I think this is an Invis rune that he's popped, yeah. So he's actually just going to be able to scout it out for his team and work out whether they want to try and make this their own initiation. They spot out Dazzle in the river as well. Phoenix ult on cooldown for 35 seconds, so they don't have that big lockdown to try and support, but they are outnumbering Radiant here. Currently 5 on 3/4, depending on how quickly Dazzle can rotate in. Bristleback running off through the jungle, and it looks like Radiant are actually getting a little bit separated here, but Dire aren't pushing in quite quickly enough to take advantage of it. Morphling is just desperate to waveform in there, and we are going to have Queen of Pain rotating back into this bot lane, and the initiation goes down as a blink comes out from Axe, catches the Bristle, not who he wanted. The stun goes down on the Bristleback. He's brought hugely low. Queen of Pain coming in to try and get some damage down on the Troll Warlord, who is finished off, first casualty of the game, and Bristleback saved by Shallow Grave and heals coming out from the Dazzle. Speaker in trouble here, being brought hugely low, going to try and drop a TP. I don't know if they've got the damage to kill him. They don't, but Queen of Pain with a triple kill, chasing down the rest of the Dire team. Spotting out Greymon, who's been caught in the trees. He might have juked his way out of this in a very, very pretty manner indeed. Running down the lane now. And Anxiety kind of left scratching her head a little bit over that one. Whew, big fights, but IV definitely going to be taking this bot tier 1. Although I think with the cooldowns that they've currently got, G8 will be in a perfect position to try and defend the tier 2. Should also be noted that not very high mana coming out for Vincitore right now, and they will have mana boots coming out shortly, but I'm not sure if that's going to be enough to get the tier 2 with Axe coming off cooldown now and rotating straight down. Does look like they're going to at least try and put a bit of damage on. Morphling going to draw the creep wave past. Queen of Pain and Bristleback going to get some damage down on that tower. Queen of Pain drops the scream. I guess she has Ags now, so the cooldown's much less, and there was a chance that Lion was trying to hide there. I think they've realised that's his hidey hole. Still seemed a little bit... Like, you're Queen of Pain, you can blink scream, right? And surely you can get that off. Going now for the Ogre Club, which I'm expecting we're going to be seeing turned into a BKB. Could actually... I'm trying to think outside the box what else we might be seeing there. And I wouldn't object to a Halberd. I admit Queen of Pain would not be the the person I would normally be expecting to pick it up, but you know that would you got Doom and Bristleback for that kind of thing. But the Ogre Club made me think this is a game where I think IV need to pick up a Halberd, because G8 can definitely outscale them, but they outscale them through use of right clicks, and the Halberd is a cheap and effective way for a strength hero to get not only a huge amount of survivability with both the tank and the evasion, but also the ability to effectively completely disable a dedicated right-click carry. Now, of course, none of the Dire heroes are completely right-click carries. They've all got a bit of magic or something they can throw into the mix as well, even if it's just Troll's attack speed for his team and mischance on the enemy. But I'm thinking that Halberd Gaming could secure even late game for Vincitore here. No sign of it yet though. Doom going mech mana boots. This is not a Doom build I'm a huge fan of, I gotta admit. I play my Doom right up in the face. Bristleback does have an Ogre Club. We just don't know what it's going to be turned into. And a big dire wave going down on bottom. Liberace Vitali was looking for the blink there, but unfortunately Bristleback is the one hero he really doesn't want to go on. Eats a Doom. He's going to end up dying here. The only question is how long does it take and how many heroes do IV rotate in to try and kill him? And apparently it's 4, which is way too many. Like Doom and with that slow coming out from Dazzle, Doom and Dazzle could have taken this. They did not need Bristleback to come. They did not need Shadow Shaman to come. And it has effectively lost in the tower. They could have at least got them a deny there. Big fight going on mid though. Queen of Pain gets some damage down to Vaz, but is then phased out by the Phoenix, who Icarus dives away from the Bristleback. But the chase is still going on. The Queen of Pain ult is used. And they're going to just try and nuke down this this Phoenix ult. And they get it despite wonderful stunts coming out from Lion. Doom's finished off though by the finger. But Speaker caught in the shackles. This is the lockdown you need for a Morphling, and he's down. Now, that was a bit of a misplay there from Speaker. He had some time there where he wasn't stunned. If he'd had a Replicate ready. Wow, no points in Replicate. Okay, support Morphling build, I guess. Still don't understand this. But if he'd had a point in Replicate, he could have been straight out there. Fight recap. I missed it. What? Bollocks. XP graph been a bit up and down. But compared to the previous game, nothing. This is a much more even game. Sorry, a much more predictable game. In that it seems to be going fairly steadily in IV's favour. Looking over at the golds, again, similar story. And I guess we take the opportunity to have a quick look at the items we've got coming out. Bristleback, as I mentioned, with the Ogre Club, already finished the Crimson Guard. And Quat with the Ags and the Club. But what have we got on other people? Actually, I guess I've done all of IV. Doom with the Mana Boots and the Mech. And then supports with support crap, I don't know. Oh, Shadow Shaman picking up a blink, I like that. Yet to pick it up though. If we look at the axe, we see the fairly standard Blade Mail, Blink Dagger, Tranquils build that he was using in the jungle as well. That risky strategy where you put down the Tranquils to avoid using up the heal and then pick them back up, which of course is just begging to have them sniped, but he managed to avoid that. Troll Warlord with Mask of Madness and Venom. So this is a very, very different build than we saw in the previous game, and I kind of like this. It's much squishier, 100%, and Troll doesn't have any sustain abilities. But it's a decent build. We have got a dire push on top, so I'm just going to close the items for now. We'll come back to them in a sec. Vans pops the ult and just gets straight down to work on this top tower. Liberace Fatali gets a beautiful blink down onto Dazzle, already dead at the start of this fight, and this is great for G8. There's going to be no Shadow Grave. Beautiful Queen ult though, gets 4? Wow! That was nuts! I might have to rethink my Queen of Pain position, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, there was a beautiful ward there dropped as well by the Shadow Shaman. But with Dazzle out of the fight, I really thought that G8 had a great opportunity here to just face rush and nuke down. And if they had done it in a way which avoided that Queen ult, that would have been an absolute team wipe. Maybe Queen would have got away with Blink, but they would have killed everyone. Maybe lost a couple. But getting those wards, locking people in place around someone who was trapped in the middle of the wards, and then dumping a Queen of Pain ult on top of it, that was a thing of beauty. Quadruple kill there for Queen of Pain, and very much deserved. And I think it's going to net them another tier 2 as well. Oh, I apologise, the first tier 2 of the game. At least the towers are going down evenly in this game. We are seeing, not evenly, only one down for Dire, and this will be the 4th for Radiant if they can get it. Doesn't look like they want to hang around though. Very aware of what Axe can do with that blink call. So that pushed IV even just slightly further ahead than they were before, and they were being very comfortable before. But that said, again, there was that moment when G8 were going in where I just thought they're going to take this. This is where it turns around, and they're not going to be slowed down from here on out. And I don't think we can count them out yet. All they need is one big team wipe, and I think with the sprees that are being built up on IV, particularly off that quadruple kill, they will catch up a lot of the XP and gold very, very, very quickly. Now when they do that, that's going to be very, very problematic for IV, because as I've been saying all game, G8 scale better. It's just a fact. Van's really making use of the melee bash with the Mask of Madness attack speed. He's going to be able to pop his ult in 5 seconds as well, which he could definitely use to secure this Roche. The only problem is they know that Radiant are pushing down on this mid lane, and could easily rotate to the pit. In fact, it looks like Doom might have a sense of doing just that. Well, they've made it and they're looking to rotate out. The question is, what position do they choose to go? Wow, okay, looks like Radiant are going to try and jump in and contest that. They're going to try and keep up on this mid push, and that's actually going to give Dire enough time to get out of Roche and into position to defend the mid. So really, I don't know. I think Radiant could have been a bit more on their toes there. Ivy could have jumped on something, got some kills, and made that Roche effectively worthless. As it is, they're just doing a straight 5-on-5 push. The wards go down on the tower. Bristleback tanking them up as well. Van's really just reduced to trying to clear the Radiant creep wave, but I don't even think that will be quick enough. Mon can tank up the damage and right-click the tower in the meantime. And it seems like G8 happy to try and take this on the high ground. They do have pushes going out on the other two lanes, only supported by creeps, but you know what? It's something. And looks like Vincitore are just going to back off on this one. And yeah, let G8 waste their time on the mid. Now they do still have some time to farm up these Shadow Shaman wards. I honestly think Axe should go for it. Maybe pop Call if he's worried about the harass, but he doesn't need to be. That's huge, huge gold if you can farm them up quickly. They're almost all gone. They got them all, ladies and gentlemen. Last second ward farming. Beautiful play coming out here from Dire. So Anxiety rotates up to top lane. Let's have a quick look at actually the kills. Is something I haven't been paying a huge attention to. This is scary to me. Kind of scary. If it was 17-2 on the Bristleback, I would say yeah, Vincitore are going to be really hard to beat. But 17-2 on a Quap is just gold sitting there. And here we go. Axe, Liberace Fatali gets in. They get the call. They get the Hex. They get the finger. 775 gold. And please let me catch the fight recap on this one to see what that XP change was. XP change, 1.5k XP. And more than that in terms of gold difference coming out from that fight. That was huge. And that will finally get them the tier 1 that they've wanted for so long. The one that was interrupted so horribly by Queen of Pain last time. Fitzberg possibly going to be caught out here. Troll going ham with BKB popped. Dazzle already used Shallow Grave trying to get away from a previous engagement. And Troll being brought hugely low here under the effect of Weave as well. Axe finishing off Doom. The Phoenix ult gets popped. And that's going to be trouble for Mong on the Bristleback. The Aegis goes down on Troll, but he finishes off the Bristleback. Sorry, the Dazzle in the meantime. So with Quap still down, only Shadow Shaman is the Radiant survivors from this big piece of aggression coming out from Dire. Axe going to skip the wave, and this is going to be a tier 2 for G8. No problem at all, ladies and gentlemen. A quick look at that fight recap. Most of the damage coming out from Troll was just crazy right click. Axe doing his job, and the Phoenix ult. Wow, these be combos, ladies and gentlemen. These be combos. Going for a straight rotation onto the mid. Now, I'm not sure if I like that. They're a bit low on mana, a bit low on health. They've got 2 towers. Now seems the time for caution. They could... Oh, nice stack. Yep, always take the stack. Won't object. Not sure why the whirling axes were popped there. They didn't seem... As I said, a fairly new control, but they didn't... Oh no, they did. They did affect the mischance did affect, which is great. That mischance is offensive. 7 seconds of a 60% mischance. Yeah, just try right clicking. Try right clicking. As Radiant seem to want to rotate into Roche, but yeah, nowhere near up. Turning this into aggressively by Secret Shop. Bristleback now baiting on the mid. And this, it has to be admitted, is fairly clear bait. I mean, it is a Bristleback, so you know, maybe Dire think, yeah, okay, maybe he would just push like that. Maybe we can jump him, but I don't know. That was a shade too obvious, and the smoke wearing off, Radiant are forced to just wait on high ground if they want to maintain the element of surprise. Bristleback rotating down to bot, just going to grab some farm up here quickly. Seems like the Radiant really want to make this happen. I'm not sure why. I'm honestly not sure why. They're not being punished for it the way they should be. Dire could easily have someone hiding out in the top jungle right now, and farming. But as it is, seems like what Dire want to do is a smoke gank of their own, and we are going to see a 5-on-5. I think we're going to see a 5-on-5 failed smoke gank into failed smoke gank. The troll replicate is going to try and be the bait. In that sense, Dire do have one very important tool for setting up on this fight, and it almost looks. Oh, this is beautiful. Radiant sending a hero forward to bait for them, are going to end up... No! Dire, don't go far enough east! Go east, you bastards! They're right here! Go, yes! Come up behind them! Come up behind them! Catch the ones that are waiting in ambush. Please, this has got the potential to be such a beautiful fight. Dire coming up behind Radiant on their own wave. Lion spots out the dazzle. People finally realise what's going on. Troll brought hugely low. BKB popped, but he does pop the does eat Doom as well. The Phoenix ult goes down, and that's actually going to be a stun on the Shadow Shaman who was attempting to TP out. Wow, I've never seen Phoenix ult interrupt a TP before. That's new. Bristleback going for the next TP. Speaker does not have a stun, and that is 4 for 1 in favour of G8. That was the longest, most protracted setup I think I've ever seen, but the result was fairly predictable. You know, when Ivy is sending their tanks forward with the squishy people hanging at the back to jump once the fight has started, and then suddenly it turns out that G8 are jumping from the back and taking out the squishies before the tanks can get anywhere close. That's a big problem. They did manage to get the tier 2 down with the help of the wards, which is absolutely great. But yeah, that's of such things are throws made. Let's have a quick look at the XP graph, and this is what I'm talking about. It's gone back. We are now seeing G8 with that last big team fight, and I think honestly largely the kill on Queen, which got that huge swing, did so much here. But G8 pulling back into the lead on XP, pulling back into the lead on gold, which is actually a slightly more difficult achievement. And yeah, we're setting up for a very good late game here, guys, at 30 minutes. I will just briefly take the moment to say, anybody watching on stream or YouTube or wherever, please do follow and subscribe and stuff. It really helps us get into bigger tournaments. But that's the last time I'll mention it before the end of the game. And we are back to farming, as Radiant look to be making the most use of their jungle. Probably time, actually, for us to have another look at the items. We've got Hand of Midas out on Phoenix. That was, I think... These were the heroes I hadn't quite got to, but I think that was a bit of a late pickup for him there. Going for a point booster next. I got to wonder if this is some Ags, which I haven't read up on. Oh yes, no, of course I have. He can take people into it, but Doom gets a Doom down on Lions, and that's a lot of the CS for Dire. Not available during this fight, but they do manage to get the Axe call off very, very well. And here's a Phoenix ult. Queen drops the ults, but Phoenix, for some reason, Radiant couldn't decide whether to go in on that or not. Ends up getting numerous heroes stunned out by the Phoenix ult. But really, for a fight like that with 3,000 damage done on each side, one kill is kind of strange, and that killer support at that. So a bit of a strange game. Little bit of a strange game. What are we seeing Morphling going now? Yules, Tranquils, and Soul Ring and a Wand. So nothing like your granddaddy's Morphling here, ladies and gentlemen. This is I still need to obviously do my research, but this is support Morphling. Now back to Deja Vu Knight's items. I want to have a quick look at Ags on Phoenix. I think I can do it this way. Nope, I can't. I'm fairly certain what the Ags does on Phoenix is allows him to take other heroes into the ult with him, exposing them to danger. If the ult goes down, I think they also die, but if the ult works and they all survive for the full duration, then they all come back, I think, with full health and full mana. Very, very powerful ability, so long. But the difficulty, of course, is Phoenix ult is very, very temperamental anyway, and one of the ways you can guarantee it is by keeping your teammates outside, and we've seen it a couple of times this game with Lion throwing down stuns during the Phoenix ult. That's not possible if Lion's, you know, being egged and is literally inside an egg. It's kind of hard to stun people when you're like that. Roche respawning in 1 minute 20. Hoping what is that though? That's almost 11 minutes. So this is like the maximum time the teams really should be keeping an eye on that. And we are seeing Dire making sure they keep the D wards up, which is great. But Radiant, where's your D wards? Dire, where's your ward? You know, nobody knows right now if the other team is attempting Roche. Nobody knows if Roche is up. As it is, he's not up for another minute. But c'est la vie, we make it work. Bristleback gonna try and take out this little camp of ancients here. Shadow Shaman getting some damage down on the Dire Creep Wave top. And it does look like we might have a bit of a lull here before the next Roshan. Radiant with 3 heroes on mid, but I don't think they're going to commit to this. And Dire, I think this is just ancient farming, but they do have cores right next to the Roche pit, so I'm thinking maybe they're aware of the issue. Maybe they're aware of how soon it is, and they're really trying to keep themselves close to the Roche pit. I say as Axe just wanders away. Radiant, on the other hand, doing a full rotation into their jungle / bottom. Going to be farming up very quickly, but equally doesn't seem like any attention really for the Roche pit. There's even a regen rune right there that one of the Radiant heroes could go down and get, and in so doing, rotate by like 600 units and spot out Roche. I did see a ping there. I did see a ping. Yes! Yes! They checked it! Bristleback knows Roche is up. Radiant know the score. Dire still have no idea and are busy farming their jungle. I think G8 may have missed a trick a little bit on this one. The wards are down. Honestly, they don't need them because G8 are nowhere to be seen. But I don't think it's a bad call from IV because G8 should be coming in here. There should be a big timescale here that that IV have to work to, but there isn't because G8 are farming their jungle as a big clumpy clumps. That's just wonderful. Axe rotating down onto top lane now for G8. So like that entire time there were 5 Radiant heroes mid, and the Radiant tier 1 is still standing. I find that sad in a deep and meaningful way. It grieves me. Doom farming up down the bottom. I'm going to have another look at the Doom, see if I like him a little bit better. It does look like he's rushing his Ags as well now. And as I said, I don't like the fact that they made it that the disabling passives was only a part of the when you had Ags. So, by an extension of that logic, I like Ags on Doom. But, you know, my ideal, original, 6 months ago, wonderful, beautiful Doom build, I can guarantee you, did not contain an Ags. Contained lots of things, and sometimes it contained an Ags, I guess, but post what 6.79 Doom, really not my thing. Liberace Vitali just going to rotate out of here, and this game has slowed down in pace a lot. Let's have a quick look at the XP and gold graph. Yeah, so G8 did seize the win, and they haven't lost it, but it's petered out. We haven't seen this kind of steady behavior. It's all been ups and downs for a long time. Same kind of deal on the gold graph. Net worth, Radiant are ahead. You know, there's some argument I got to say to the scaling in this match, particularly, you know, what can Queen of Pain do with these items? Okay, Deso is great. She's going for a right-click build rather than a scaling damage, and that'll be essential given that BKBs are going to be a part of team fights from, you know, 20 minutes ago to now. But still, you know, she's not naturally a scaler because of her right-click, so that Deso is going to do slightly less on her than it would on a right-clicky mid-hero. Say the Storm Spirit from the previous... the Storm Spirit, gosh. Who am I turning into? Say a Quasi-Exalt Invoker. Say various things. I'm concentrating now. I'll get back to that point later if I deem it important. I thought we might be seeing Dire attempt to smoke gank down to bottom, but it seems not. They were just rotating in, taking an ancient stack. Troll now pushing out the bot tier 2. Radiant putting the same trick up on top though. Wards popped really unnecessarily here. That was a big misplay. There was just no need to do that. I can appreciate the concern of getting them down quickly, and yeah, if Dire had all been there, then maybe, yeah, it'd be good to get them down soon. But the thing is, you can afford like half a second just to see whether Dire are even there. See how much damage your Queen of Pain with Deso is actually doing to the tower before you decide to drop the very long cooldown, recently made even longer cooldown ult on onto a non-primary, you know? Onto a non-primary. Those wards are down now, and it does kind of seem like Dire have just rotated straight back up here as 5 to farm the wards, which then expired. So that's a little bit sad. I'm not sure what they were going for here. I don't know whether there was a... They thought they might have a catch a hero trying to split push or something. That's the only thing I can really imagine they thought was going on. And we're not even going to see anything off that previous Roche. As the Aegis, I'm pretty sure, yeah, expiring as soon as that second hand meets the thing, you know, who knows how the Dota clock works. It's really weird. Is it a second hand? Is it a minute hand? Nobody knows. No, now that I think about it, it's a second hand. That question wasn't quite as unanswerable as I originally thought. Radiant grouping up, pushing mid. 14 seconds on that SS ult. He's going Ags as well. We're going to have Ags on every hero. This is going to be the Ags party of the century. Waveform blink from Morph. I like that move. It doesn't do a huge amount of damage, but it's fun. The wards are popped on the tier 3, and honestly, I think a safe way for Ivy to play this is just whenever possible get the wards up on the high ground. When the wards are up on the high ground, they'll do damage. Doesn't matter if you get killed, doesn't matter. Well, it's better if you don't get killed, but it doesn't even really matter if you do get killed, so long as you can just keep doing it fairly frequently. Oh, but the fight kicks off. BKB on Troll, going nuts, going ham. The Aegis is actually popped. Oh my gosh! They are so lucky. That Aegis was due to expire. That is crazy. I'm not sure that G8 would have been able to win this fight regardless, as it looks like a Speaker finished off there on the back lines as well. Icarus Dive is going to get some damage down on these Radiant heroes, but they are so tanky. The Glyph is popped. Liberace Fatali misses everyone with the call. Almost caught 3, actually caught none. And we've got the Ags Phoenix ult, but Radiant are going to go ham on it. And they're all back, full health, full mana. This might be a chance here for Dire. We've got Shallow Grave back, but there's Axe Culling Blade, and that is why this is an insanely powerful spell when it works. It almost got the entire Dire team killed, but as it is, it let them turn this fight around, and they haven't actually lost Rax yet. The ranged, it's just a matter of time, and that isn't going to heal, but this melee Rack, if they can keep the mid lane clear for a while, will be back in fighting trim very, very shortly. Now we've got Dire trying to rush down this this mid lane. I think they really have to. At least a tier 1 here, but I'm hoping a tier 2 as well. Having a look at the buyback status, the only Radiant hero with buyback is Brittleback. Now that's not a comparative thing. The only Dire hero with buyback is Phoenix. But you know, who needs their buybacks right now? To whom is it more important? That is the question. That's Skadi coming out on Troll as well. So you know, I'm not saying that IV have lost this. They were just in a position where we were all thought they would win, or I really thought that they had both a strategy and an opportunity to win this game without too much trouble. And then G8 are pulling this back right now. And every time G8 pulls it back, it becomes a little bit more obvious that they're scaling harder, and the longer this game goes on, the better for them. As Lion catches and nukes down the Shadow Shaman here, trying to keep everyone in view. As Mong starts dropping things and tries to go in, but the Vaz immediately pops his BKB. Doom has gone in as well and has actually doomed the Phoenix, but he's just going to sit it out, and with the health regen you get on Phoenix, that's not going to do anything. Vans is brought down eventually by Mong. Not entirely sure why the Dire team are backing out so hurriedly. Surely they want to help their cause, but they did manage to get the Rags, and maybe they're just playing it safe. So Radiant got a huge amount of XP and damage from those 2 kills. XP and damage, XP and gold from those 2 kills. Like, it was nuts. And I'm not too happy with the Dire decisions out. I think they could have either kept pushing or backed out as 5. I think if they kept pushing, they might have had a decent chance. But I could be wrong. The cores were getting nuked down very, very quickly. It just seemed like the supports and the we're just nowhere close. Now, if Quap's smart, she'll send these illusions straight up to the Radiant Tower. It's going to go down very, very quickly. Almost just to them, but saved in the end by the Phoenix laser. Fire the lasers! Crimson popped a little bit early here on Radiant. If Dire can just back up off this one, then they'll be able to engage without having to worry about that physical damage block. As JJ nuking down creep waves. And with his ult up, again we're in a position where Radiant just need to go up, drop the ult, and whatever pressure they can keep up to try and help out is great. The wards are up, BKB popped on Mong as well, as Liberace Fatali goes in and finishes off the Shadow Shaman, but Shadow Shaman's job is honestly done. The Queen of Pain drops as well, and that's huge nukes, but this Troll getting so many bashes down on Anxiety, this is perma-stunned. No, he manages to get a blink away. The Phoenix ult goes down, and Mong being brought hugely low here. I think Dire are going to have to say goodbye to their axe, but Vans is being able to get huge damage down, finishes off both Radiant supports. Radiant, why didn't you finish this damn ranged axe? This is madness. Fitzberg caught out as well with a Berserker's Call, and we've got more stuns coming in as the Doom goes down on the troll, and he's rushing as fast as he can back to the fountain. Oh no, stops for a quick mech, but that'll keep him alive. And it's the same philosophy here again for Dire. They won that fight. If we have a look at the damage done, if we have a look at the XP change and the gold change, they won the fight. Oh, they can take Rosh this time. So this is going to be interesting. Taking the Rosh is going to slow them down a little bit, and it is going to mean that there's all of the IV heroes up when the fight actually happens. But that Aegis though. That Aegis though. There's a regen out here as well to heal up the Axe, who's tanking out most of the Roshan damage. Troll coming in now though with the bashes. Going to slow down most of the damage that Roshan is able to push out. Does look like Radiant are ready and willing to come in here though. Blink out from Axe. Hunting through the jungle. The cheese dropped as well. I'm assuming that was picked up by someone. Let's have a quick look. Wrong button. Who's got the cheese? Who's got the cheese? Is the cheese sold? No, Lion has the cheese. That's a thing. That's a thing that is a thing. Bot tier 2 under pressure from quite a lot of ranged creeps here, and this catapult going to survive past the next wave as well. Dire pulling back, because you can't have action without lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of inaction, apparently. 40 minutes to the start of Goomba v Rage as well. I do hope this doesn't turn into a 90-minute game. Dire committing now to this bottom tower. Now, Radiant actually thinking the Dire have backed out here. It seems like they did a good job in just hiding in the trees, acting uninterested, and now they're going to get a chance to go ham. Now I didn't see any TPs go down, so I'm assuming Radiant can rotate in here as soon as they wish. But of course, big TP rotations are not ideal because you are going to be coming in at 1 second intervals. And the tower's down. Bristleback looking to take out the Ancients up on the top lane, but I'm not sure that's a good idea. He needs to be TP'd back now, not TPing back now. The Queen of Pain screen goes down, blink in from the Axe. Bristleback is in, the Lion Finger goes down on JJ, and he's finished off as the first casualty of the match. Vahans, he's going absolutely troll with this Aegis. This is classic troll. Fitzburg being brought hugely low. I didn't see who got doomed. Oh, it's Phoenix again over at the back. I'm not liking that, but it is a way of making sure he doesn't get off that horrific Aghanim's ult. Bristleback finishing off Troll finally, but having lost Doom and Shadow Shaman, I'm not sure if Radiant can call this a win. A re-initiation there from Leibin Ferrari, finishes off the Dazzle, but now taking the Deso hits from the Queen of Pain, and it's two of the biggest Radiant cores left up. We've got a big initiation. Morphling manages to finish off the Queen of Pain. Immediate buyback though. Phoenix ult has been popped, but he's offering it up. Who wants to heal? He grabs everyone he can. The ult goes down from Queen of Pain. Liberace Fatali does look for another quick initiation. He caught out Mong. The only hero to have survived this entire fight so far for Radiant is finished off. Buyback in the game comes out from Mong. It's him and Quap. Can they try and defend this tower? As I said, two of the biggest cores on the Radiant team, but they're going 2 on 5. And I think the really scary thing here for IV is if we have a look at the buyback status, Dire are the ones who've got it popped up now. Not only a cooldown spot, but gold is going to be a problem for Radiant. That JJ is in, drops the wards this time before any rack go down. Is going to be able to phase out fairly well. And we had a TP away, I think, there briefly. Lion finished off. Dazzle finished off as well. And Liberari Fatali caught out by the shackles. There is going to be a huge amount of CC on him as Doom moves in and starts right-clicking. And these wards defending the racks. But the mid is finished off. I think that was Spica just rotating in and trying to go for a split push while the fight was going on. And I didn't even realize he did a good job of it. Top racks shredded, tier 3 down, melee down, and ranged on less than 400 health. That was an amazing push there from Dire. Access buyback, Troll does not. Still waiting for 5 minutes for Troll. Lion does, let's have a look, does have buyback, so I don't think that G8 are in any huge problem here either. I keep saying G8, by the way. The name is actually G Infinity. I guess 8 because, you know, Infinity looks like a sideways 8. Anxiety getting a nice pick off there on the Morphling, who was being a little bit aggressive in his top lane split push. But Morphling, 37 seconds on his buyback, at which point he will be able to afford it. So no real danger of game loss here, I think, for Dire, if they can just hold. And have another quick look at the XP graph. It's been pulled back a little bit. That Morphling kill, I think that Morphling kill was a big part of this switch around. But they are firmly in the lead at 50 minutes. Gold graph, even firmer. And let's have a look at the items that we've got coming out now. Morphling, are you finally getting some carry items? Oh, as Mong initiates onto the high ground here. We got the Hex down on Deja Vu Knight. But Greymon has rotated in. Did manage to get a 2-person Earth Spike there as well. Fitzberg rotates in with Level Death. Mong manages to finish off the Shadow Shaman. Actually has a decent bit of damage here on Deja Vu Knight, but not quite enough. And he manages to Icarus dive out. Mong now in danger of being just nuked down here and CC'd by the Axe and the Lion. Whew. So Radiant, they haven't lost a hero yet. Dire are down their Troll. He's coming straight back in though. There it is, but the wards are down on this mid tower. The fight is real. Liberace Fatali doing huge damage. Fitzberg not going to be able to make it out against these Troll bashes. They're just going to farm up these wards as quickly as they can. Maybe save the melee racks and let it regen. Yes, they're going to be able to do that. Lion's going to grab the gem. So now, I'm going to leave buyback status up. I think it's kind of the key part of this game right now. The only buyback in the game is on the Dire. That's pretty much all that needs to be said, I think, right here. The biggest damage in the game, quick shout out, they're going to Bristleback. I think largely, yeah, with Quill Spray. Just absolutely huge. Oh no, right clicks actually. The right clicks were doing the work there. Troll doing the most... whoa, was that Troll? No, it was Axe doing the most damage for the Dire. So it seems that so far in this game... Wow, they wasted all that time checking Roshan. Not sure I agree with that. With the buybacks down, they need to push, at least get a range rax, finish top, do something. Roshan's not going to be up. Like, the minimum time for Roshan to be up is still about another 2 minutes. So that was a bit of a misplay there from G8. Loving the aggression they've got coming out now, though. And it does mean that they're going to be able to go on this high ground with a DD rune on the Troll. So that's what... Wow, look at that, gents. 450 damage. 458 if you want to be precise. Vans gets one right click, switches to ranged. And I think maybe gets himself creep blocked here. Now working on the other barracks, and Radiant just don't know what to do. If they go any further forward, they're going to get initiated on, and that is exactly what has just happened. Both of the racks down here already, though, so I don't think G8 need to engage. It's really just a question of what can they get. Doom has gone down on Vahans. Snowfall does get a Hex down on Liberari Fatari, and G8 group up next to the Phoenix ult. Immediate use there on the Doom. I'm liking the plays. Queen of Pain drops her ult. That's decent damage down on the Dire team, and supported by the Shadow Shaman ult as well. Liberari Fatali is locked down. Now brought low by Bristleback. But where's this TP up on top? Yeah, I thought so. There's Troll. He knows how the game is won, and the game is won with Mega Creeps, and there they are. For anybody who doesn't know what I'm talking about, bam! And you see Troll just escaping back up the lane there. He just took out the last racks in the Radiant base, and that surely must be GG. Now, Speaker being brought low down here on bot lane. JJ doesn't have a huge amount of right click left, and the replicate out is real. Only to take him over to Bristleback, though. Waveforms back into the Radiant base, and gets finished off. JJ rotating in from around the outside, but GG called out from Fitzberg, and I do think that's fair against Megas. Wow. Let's just watch that ancient burn. Whew. Quick glass of water. Ah, that's better. Alright, well, thanks very much for tuning in, guys. That was a nut game. Honestly, I think either team could have won it until right near the end. But great play from both teams. Honestly, I think G8 are, from what I've seen in these two, which of course is a small sample, G8 are the better team. I really like the way they're playing. They seem to have really good synchronicity. and they can spread the map better in the early game, which puts them in a better position. In this game, also they had the draft, which meant that so long as they got that map spread, they would be absolutely fine. So anybody tuning in, please do watch, follow, subscribe. We have got another match coming up in, let me just check this, ideally about half an hour. I'm going to keep the stream on, play some music, and put it on a Be Right Back screen, so stay tuned for that. If you've got to go, thank you very much for tuning in. Have good games yourself tonight, and yeah, chat to you next time. Ciao.